Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Have you ever stood at a crossroads in your life and wondered if you made the right call? Maybe you chose one job over another or moved to a new city instead of staying put. We all spend a lot of time thinking about the paths we did not take. But have you ever wondered if those unchosen paths are actually messing with your memory of what you did? A fascinating new study suggests that your brain does not just save the highlights of your life, it holds on to the ghosts of your choices too. The researchers wanted to know if the mental simulations we run while planning an action leave a permanent mark on our memory. Think of it like a computer running a simulation. Even after the simulation closes, some temporary files might stay on your hard drive. In this study, scientists used the Tower of London task. It is a classic logic puzzle where you have to move colored balls around pegs to match a specific goal. Crucially, these researchers picked puzzles that had two perfect ways to win. This meant the participants had to simulate two different paths in their heads before picking one to actually perform. This is the big find. After solving the puzzle, the participants were shown a series of screen images and asked if they had seen them during the game. They were much more likely to incorrectly claim they had seen a setup from the path they had thought about, but never actually performed. This suggests that the brain is not just a passive recorder of reality. Instead, it seems that just thinking about a potential action is enough to create a memory trace that feels real to us later on. When you are planning your day or making a big life decision, you are constantly running these simulations. The study shows that the brain does not immediately hit delete on the plans you rejected. Those mental drafts linger in your subconscious. They create a sense of familiarity that can trip you up. Because these simulated steps feel familiar, your brain might miscategorize them as things that actually happened. This is a classic confusion between what we intended to do and what we truly experienced. The researchers were really smart about how they tested this. They knew that maybe these items just looked similar because of the colors and shapes of the balls. To rule that out, they ran a second experiment where they made sure the fake, unseen items were just as similar to the actual solution as the "I might have done this" paths were. Even with that strict control, the effect stayed the same. It was not just about visual confusion. It was about the mental weight of those unchosen routes. I find this result incredibly intuitive, but also a little bit unsettling. It means that the mere presence of a choice at the moment of decision-making is enough to clutter your memory. Does this mean our memories are unreliable? Well, in some ways, yes, but it also shows how incredibly active and imaginative our brains are. They are constantly exploring and testing the world around us. The cost of that flexibility is a little bit of confusion between our reality and our potentiality. Looking at the study as a whole, it really holds up. The researchers used the standard way to measure memory called signal detection theory. Think of that as a way to separate signal from noise. The signal is your true memory and the noise is your brain playing tricks on you. They found that these unchosen paths really do lower your ability to discriminate between past experiences and passing thoughts. One thing to keep in mind is that this was done in a very controlled lab setting. While it is great for getting clear data, life is not a computer game of colored balls on pegs. We do not know for sure if real life, complex decisions like choosing a spouse or a career path create identical memory distortions. That is a question for future research. However, if this holds true for big life events, it explains why we sometimes feel a deep sense of nostalgia or regret for a life we never actually lived. We might be remembering the simulations we ran during our own decision-making process. If you enjoyed this trip through the hidden architecture of your own mind, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab. I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a memory that felt so vivid you were sure it happened, only to realize you had only ever imagined it as an option? Drop a comment below and let us discuss the strange ways our brains construct our pasts. Thanks for watching and stay curious.